Well, hi, good morning, my friends. Just a little trouble with my video this morning, so I had a late start. Plus, I think it's the new update. I had to do the new update. I don't know. Anyway, so would you do me a favor also this morning? Would you please keep Thomas Tommy in prayer and his girlfriend Pam has been taken to the hospital. She has kidney failure of some kind. She's got some sort of some tubes coming out, and they're draining her kidneys. So if you would keep her in prayer, all my subscribers, just a prayer for her, that would be great. And for Thomas, his leg is still not better, and he's hoping to get to John Hopkins Hospital. So he's going through a lot. So if you keep him in prayer, I'd really appreciate that. And also keep Buddy in prayer. And anybody else that needs prayer, please let me know, and I will keep you in my prayer as well. And just wishing you well, and let me know how things go for you. So sorry that you have to go through this right now. Of course, keep our leaders in prayer. Trump, good first major step with China stopping all new business with North Korea. So it's a good first start anyway. And so keep our leaders in prayer. And those people, all the poor people in Mexico, and those people that have been in harm's way with our weather and what have you, please keep them in prayer. We are in the book of Malachi, chapter 3. Please remember to also pray and be reverent to the Lord when you're hearing his very live word. Okay, his word is still live, never changes from yesterday, today, tomorrow. So I believe that this is inspired, and why we still have it to this day is because it is his living word. Okay, so chapter 3 starts off with the messenger, majesty, grace of Christ, rebellion, sacrilege, infidelity to the people, promise of blessing to them that fear God, or revere our Lord. Okay, behold, I will send my messenger, that he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming, and who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner fire, and like a fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord, as in the days of old, as in former years. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be swift and witness against the sorcerers, and against the adulterers, against false swearers, against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow, the fatherless, that turn aside from the stranger from his right. And fear not me, saith the Lord of hosts. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers you have gone away from mine ordinances, not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return? Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye the tithes unto the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, there shall not be room enough to receive it. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, for he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts. And all the nations shall call you blessed, for you shall be a delight, some land, saith the Lord of hosts. Your words have been stout against me, saith God. Saith the Lord, let ye say, what have we spoken so much against thee? Yet you have said that it's vain to serve God. And what profit is it that we have kept his ordinances, that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? And now we call the proud happy, yea, they that work wickedness are set up, yea, and they that tempt God are even delivered. They that fear the Lord spoke often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, that brought up on his name. See, everything you say is written down. Okay, anyway, they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts. In that day, when I make up my jewels, I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Then shall you return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Lord, that serveth God, and him that serveth him not. There was one time when I was trying to figure out what was the name of God, and I crossed out God and Lord and put in Yah or Yahweh. That's when I was like going through my Jewish time. And so I have to like read through my scribbling on some of these, so forgive me, I just on this particular page for some reason. All right, chapter 4. For behold, the day cometh that will burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. Before I go on, in the Genesis story, the 7 days is also considered the 7 levels that we have to go through to become Christ-like, or angels, or whatever we're going to be becoming. To see God, we have to be completely holy, without sin, without blemish, because he cannot stand it. If you were to come to him as you are now, being sinful, he would have to destroy you, because he cannot have it. You would be cast into hell, okay, or away from him, So anyway, that's just, when he's talking about refining gold and silver, purifying you, it's also spiritual and celestial. It's something that we have to go through. It's a part of our process that our souls need to go through. Okay. That's my understanding so far. Okay, so for behold, the day cometh that shall burn even as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh that shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that is shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And you shall tread down the wicked, and they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet. In the day that I do this, saith the Lord of hosts. And remember the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him to Horeb for all of Israel, with the statutes of judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. And this is the end of the Old Testament. Now we're in the New Testament. Yoo-hoo! And we're in St. Matthew. So, we're in the first 4 books of the New Testament, okay? And the Old Testament, there was, in Job, there was the longing, the creator in Genesis 1:1, the majestic God, which was Exodus 19:18, the first things, Genesis 1:1, spiritual darkness, Psalms 82:5, Satan's victory, Genesis 3:6, sin's curse, and so forth and on, okay? And then how Christ connects the 400 silent years. We seem to know a little bit more about that scholarly, but I don't have any of those notes in front of me. But the contrast is, you got bloody sacrifices, bondage, law, types and shadows, outward ceremonies, the letter, prophecy, expected Messiah, paradise lost. Then you have, in the New Testament, you have realization, Redeemer, our Father, the last things, the rising sun, Satan's defeat, sin's remedy, life eternal, Christ the Lamb, liberty, gospel, substance, inward experience, the Spirit, fulfillment, our Savior, paradise regained. Okay. And then with Matthew, we had the first 4 books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And my understanding is that the book of Mark was actually the first book, and then the rest were sort of copied and changed to their point of view. Okay, so the Gospel of Matthew, the author is Matthew. He was also called Levi, one of the 12 apostles, undoubtedly a Jew who was a publican or a Roman tax collector. When called by Jesus, he left all and followed him. He made a great feast for Christ, who attended it, despite the fact that the publicans belonged to a despised class. To whom he addresses is primary to the Jews. The view is confirmed by the fact that there are about 60 references to the Jewish prophecies and about 40 quotations from the Old Testament. Christ's mission to the Jews especially is emphasized, and the key words are fulfilled, frequently repeated to indicate the Old Testament, and the fulfillment in Christ of the word kingdom, which appears 50 times, kingdom of heaven 30 times, King Jesus appears at least 6 or 7 times. Apparent purposes to show that Jesus of Nazareth was the kingly Messiah, the Jewish prophecy. And I've kind of shown you just briefly every time that Jesus was mentioned. So there's no excuse, okay? And so Matthew's just reiterating he fulfilled it, okay? And he'll explain how. And then the distinctive features, the complete genealogy of Christ, the incidences and discourses is what will be discussed, found only in this gospel, okay? And the miracles found only in Matthew are the 2 blind men that are healed and the tribute money. And then the parables found only in Matthew are the tares and the hid treasure, the goodly pearl, the unmerciful servant, laborers of the vineyard, the 2 sons, the marriage of the king's son and then the 10 virgins, the talents, the sheep, and the goats, okay? And then the analysis from the standpoint of the kingship of Christ. The king is the story of the kingly Messiah, his lineage of birth, his adoration, the proclamations, summoning followers, the laws and mandates, the works, the murder of his herald, his power over natural forces and disease, his revelation of dullness of men, and his own coming suffering and glory, and so forth and on, okay? So that's He immediately